Hello, everyone. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We're the radio and TV podcast. We're an internet singles talk network, and we're just really super excited about being the #1 station. You guys, this is the Boy and Girl Show, and I am Cece Schatz.
And I'm Kathy Lamb.
And this is Derick Bernard. I hope you all are going to join us this evening and have a pleasant discussion with us. If you're out there, feel free to participate.
Yes, so can you guys join in with us? We would love to have you comment and post your thoughts and comments and things like that so we can discuss things with you. It would be kind of cool to be able to join with you here on this platform. So we would love that. We see you out there listening to us. We don't know who you are, but we do appreciate that. You guys, also our website is goingsolomedia.com, which is why it's written across my face. And so we would like for you, I've got a wife here, so you guys can come and join us right on the website.
Cheers.
Okay, so cheers, everyone. Let's start the show off. I'm drinking iced tea.
Cheers.
Very boring tonight. Ooh, I like your fancy glass there.
Oh, yes.
That's really pretty.
It is.
I think I got mine free from something.
I have this thing at my house where, I have all types of different wine glasses. So when anybody comes to my house, I open up the cabinet and say, choose your glass. Get the glass that suits you.
That's a great idea.
That's nice.
Yeah, I always think they have to match, but that's a good idea to have them separate so that everybody knows which wine glass is their glass. Yeah, that's clever. I'm going to not have to go out and buy new glasses. I like that idea.
I got the idea from someone else whose house I used to go to a lot. And they would always say, choose your glass. And it was so cool the way they did it.
Yes,
I like that.
A glass for your mood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Glass for your mood. I like that. Okay, you guys, just want to, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Questfine Jewelers for sponsoring us here on the Going Solo Network. Their phone number is 877-860-0826, and they're right there in Fairfax, Virginia. So we want to reach out to them and thank them. I hope you guys are taking care of your moms because Mother's Day is coming. And if you want to adopt me or I adopt you, you're welcome to buy me presents. So right there, give them a call, 877-860-0826.
And you're #1, Cece. You said #1 radio station.
What? I'm sorry?
I noticed that you said your #1 radio station. That's really good.
We are. Well, we're the #1 singles talk network because there's not too many actual single on the internet singles talk network. So we are doing that. We're doing very well. People are liking us and we're loving them. And so we want to thank everyone for listening. But let's get on with our show because I think it's going to be fun, especially since you all didn't read the article that I sent you.
Well, I noticed that Kathy asked a question when you mentioned the amount of divorced, single, and never married people. She said, what's the problem? But who says it's a problem? It may not be a problem at all. It might just be, what's the reason?
Well, I think that this is just one thought anyway. And I contradict myself too.
That's all right.
That maybe some people don't take marriage seriously enough to where they don't work through the problems, and so divorce is easy. And long time ago, people stayed together to the end, and they don't do that much anymore.
But was that the correct thing? It might have been the correct thing then, but is it a correct thing for now, for today's world?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
well,
you make it well out to stay together to the end, but and I understand too that problems happen that you just have to get away from. But some things I think can be worked out.
Well, okay. The article that we're going to be talking about tonight is a growing power of single people. And it's pretty new. It was in September of 2019, and it's from Psychology Today. And Bella DePaulo had written the article, which is very interesting because it goes on to say that the current population survey showed in the U.S. that there are now 117.9 million adults over the age of 18 that are either divorced, widowed, or have been single all their lives. And so the power of being single, before it used to be kind of a taboo type of thing, right? To be single, oh my gosh, you're single, you're divorced or whatever. But now it's not really looked at like that anymore. What the article goes on to say is that individuals are finding it, there are ways of fulfilling their life without necessarily being in a marriage. And so they're finding, as we have seasons, right? They're finding more and more that we have relationship seasons. And so in the latter part of our lives, we're looking to really be happy, and so sometimes as we're, coming into, let's say, retirement or something, and then all of a sudden we find, we're not working, we're home, and then we're thinking, who is this stranger that I'm waking up to every morning? When I was waking up, I was brushing my teeth and running out the door to go to work. Now it's like, who is this person?
But
it snores very loudly.
I mean, it could also be the fact that women are working now more than women ever worked, I guess, in history. And we know the growth of this all started with women during World War II, when they had to help out in the factories to produce the machines of war. And it continued from there. And so we have now fully evolved, I think, from the stage when women define themselves by who their husband was, or define themselves by their children, or by the fact that they were married. And to me, that is a good thing. That's why I don't view it as a problem, because I think that women have evolved to the stage where women are actually their own people today and not being defined by, notice even when women get married now, they don't change their last names to their husband names anymore. A lot of women now keep their own names and their own individuality.
And
that's something to do with it.
And they can outgrow each other too. They're young when they get together, whether it's marriage or just living together or whatever, but they grow in different ways, and they can grow apart in that way too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people grow apart. I think that marriage has a purpose. And when that purpose has been fulfilled within the marriage, then if the contract isn't renewed, and if the marriage isn't renewed, and a new purpose or raison d'etre is found for the marriage, then the marriage dissolves. Sometimes physically, sometimes figuratively, sometimes people actually go and get their divorce. There are a lot of households where the marriage has come to a point where the husband and wife, quote unquote, live in separate rooms and live separate lives.
I think that's article, but I'm going to bring it up here. Growing Power of Single Women. It's about empowerment of being single. Like, number one, it used to be a taboo to be single. It's no longer. People don't look at you and go, "Oh my God, you're divorced. You're single." They don't look at you like that. So
yeah, they look at, "Oh, you're lucky."
Pardon? You're what?
They say, "Oh, you're lucky. You're single."
Yeah. There was a point when women couldn't even own their own property.
What is this about women? Men. There's men things too. What's up with we're talking about women? What's up with this?
Because I think the evolving role of women in society and the new power of women is what's driving the number of people to being single. Right, because
well, the thing is, men get divorced too, right? There's a lot of men that step out on their relationships and they're looking for something different. And so it's not really, I don't feel that it's so much about women empowerment, which is why there's a lot of single people. I think that once you are divorced, let's say you're here at this point, I think, yeah, women do stop and think for a minute, like, listen, I'm evaluating the relationship I have and had in the past, and I want either something better or I want something just as good. Like Kathy, in your case, you're widowed and you want equally, a fantastic relationship as you had with your partner. And so we don't feel we have to settle simply because we're single, And years ago, I think women had felt that they had to do that. They, like, I better not stay single for long, but now it's not. Our social environment has changed. Our friendships have changed.
And that's why I said it's the woman and a change in role. Because because women have the independence now that they didn't have before. There are different choices. In the past, Kathy may have just accepted somebody coming into her life because, you know what, as a woman, you needed to be married. Now she can say, hold up, brother. I bought my own new car. I have my own home. I have my own property. I really don't need you on a permanent basis.
And this is the thought that I have, about being single here is, I have, of course I want somebody in my life sometime, but then, while I'm single, I'm thinking I make these choices and sometimes they're not the right choices, but I don't have anybody bitching at me and telling me you made a mistake. The only one to blame is myself, and I can bring myself down over it, and I don't have anybody,
Right.
Yeah, I don't have to discuss anything with anybody, and that's kind of a good thing. I like that part of it.
It's a self-actualization. It's like self-actualization. I don't have to please someone that I really don't want to please, And to me, that's the power, the real essence and power of being single, is that really and truly you live your life as a liberated individual whom really you don't have to think about. It's not that you're selfish, but marriages and partnerships can be very difficult, right? They can be difficult things to maintain. And there's a lot of stress in marriages and relationships. God bless the people who have found that kind of levity with each other where that stress does not exist in their relationship. But the majority of relationships, when you really go and you dig into them, can be very stressful. And people are making a different choice these days, either not to be married at all or to get divorced. There's another factor as well. Church no longer plays the role in people's lives than it used to play, right? A lot of people got married because, hey, I'm in a religion, and the religion says that the correct thing to do is to get married and have a family and don't divorce. People's lives are not ruled anymore by religious considerations.
Well, okay. So going back to the article that you did not read.
Yes. I am making my own article.
That we're supposed to be talking about.
Cece, next time you're going to have to give us homework a week ahead of time.
I am sorry, darling. I'm making my own article as I go along.
Well, I know, but you're doing a very good job because it does really touch on some of those things. But one thing I wanted to bring up is that it says beyond sex and romance. It said the stereotypes of single people that they don't get any. In fact, the gap between married and single people is narrowing, and by some measures, single people are having more sex. What is even more important is that the sex and romance are losing their grip on understanding of who we are and what matters.
Mm-hmm.
So frequency of sex has decreased so markedly among the young that the Atlantic magazine featured a cover story called "The Sex Recess." So recession. So anyhow, you know what they're saying now is that because you know, sex was kind of a factor way back when to, you know, have relationships, you know, be married, and single people now are just enjoying sex without being married. But saying that, I think we as single people do form some sort of connection with our partners where we can have commitment and, you know, certain things like that. So maybe a lot of us are being older or choosing not to get married again. It doesn't mean that we're not choosing to have a partner in our life, you know, that we feel like a partner in our life. So maybe we do want, all of us, men and women, a little bit of independence, you know, and we want someone that's in the game because they want to be in the game, right? Not there because they have a piece of paper to be in there. Yeah. But we can establish a relationship without having the actual marriage. So that gives a single people, I feel, empowerment, don't you think?
Yes, I agree with that.
Of course, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Why did you guys write down, didn't I? I read the article.
You did. And Derick, you said they got quiet. That's
well, I mean, you know, because yes. The thing is,
and you were talking about sex, and Derick's gonna say, "I'm not saying nothing, man. I'm gonna get myself in trouble."
Sex, and that's a point I was making about religion too, because people having sex outside of a marriage back then used to feel guilty, right? It was a guilt trip because, hey, I met this person and I had some great sex. And then after the great sex, it's like, oh my God, what did I do? Should I go and ask for, do a confession by the priest or whatever, right? The days for that is gone. Those considerations are not really present in people's minds anymore, right? Now, you still, of course, have all the evangelicals and all these people, and they have their own thing going on. But I'm just talking about the normal, everyday person has kind of evolved from all the limitations, or at least most of the limitations, that human society imposed on ourselves in the past. We even are at a point where the very taboo subject of homosexual relationships are no longer taboo. It's now in the open. What's going on with Kathy? You know?
I don't know. We lost her. So, well, okay. The other thing it was saying is that it's here she is. We lost her. Here we are. We got a better position.
What a miss.
She is back.
She's back. No, he was just talking about the religious part of it again. But yeah, I was saying that also this article talks about the community of single people, and that what's happening now is we're establishing really great, wholesome friendships, which is giving that replacement feeling of that connection that we need. And so I think that that's also happening as people are deciding, you know, I don't necessarily want to get married or whatever, but they're hanging, they have good friends that they can go and do stuff with, and they don't feel that hole.
Yeah, there's
like a widow would feel.
There is a whole lot more freedom being single. You know, you can go out and have fun with your friends. You don't have to, you know, feel guilty because the other person's staying home and or doesn't even want to go out, or you just go and have fun and there's a lot of advantages to being single. There really is.
Yeah.
But the disadvantages is having that companionship with the bond, that you can just have that really close friendship and sex, of course, that's always a good plus, but that doesn't always happen either, But,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think that with being single, the decision-making process is a lot simpler. You don't have to be in a consultation with someone to make a decision.
Well, you don't, but it's hard to be in a relationship when you don't consult with each other about things.
And that's what I'm saying. When you're single, there's not that process of consultation.
Right.
So it's very easy. It's no stress. You make a decision. It's on you. When you're in a relationship, especially like a marriage, you go through this whole consultation process before you make a decision. And you have to have consensus. And you have to have peace in the house, And that in itself could be a stressful process, right? Because some people really do sweat the small stuff. But yeah, you mentioned sex. I think that single people have more exciting sex sometimes than married people. Married people, some of them have forgotten about the romance in the relationship. The animal drive and desire has waned over time because, hey, I'm accustomed, it's nothing new. And a lot of people don't take time to make their sexual relationships fresh. It's almost like a duty for a lot of people. I'm doing this because this is my wife or this is my husband. And even though his gut is hanging over his belt now, I'm still doing it because he's my husband, right? So there are a lot of...
I don't know. I've never... When you were married, did you do that? I don't think so. I don't think that a lot of...
But I'm not saying every single person. I'm saying in quite a lot of instances, it's that way.
Yeah. Well, I think it is true that you probably put more effort in when you are with somebody that you're trying to please, and maybe you do stop that when you're in a relationship. But we have a comment here. Oh, somebody commented, taking out the trash or the yard work. What was that about? What was it? Taking out the trash? Are you telling us that's what you're doing? He's taking out the trash. Good guy there, Bill.
Well, listen,
I think that's what he wants. Oh, I think that's what he's saying. He's saying in a relationship, that's kind of like what the guys do, take the trash and do the yard work. So us women kind of miss that.
But I hope that's not the sum total of your relationship, taking out the trash and doing the yard work.
Well, Bill is okay. Bill here. I'm gonna put him up, ladies. Let me put his so you guys can see. Of course, he's got a funny face on.
What is that in your mouth?
He's got a funny picture. It looks like a banana or something in his mouth.
Something in his mouth there. I don't know.
Being a job. Oh, it's about being a job. But I was gonna say that Bill. I'm not putting that comment up, Bill.
What,
so,
being a job?
No, yes, agree with him. With you, he agrees with you.
Good.
Yeah. All right, women, send in your comments that you agree with us women now. But no, Bill, I was going to say that Bill was always a great. Oh, it's a stone crab. Bill was always a great guy because he does do that, take out the trash. Some of the stuff that we women nag about, but he always does do things like that. But I don't know. I still just kind of miss having someone,
Me too.
I just kind of miss it.
Me too.
So.
Cece.
Sorry. I'm coughing. Oh my gosh, does she have it?
Don't cry, Cece.
So, pardon?
Don't cry. You'll get someone.
No, I'm just saying I kind of miss that. But I do feel that empowerment of now being single. Before, when I first was single, I was scared to death to make any kind of decision, scared to death to do anything, that I was going to mess up. And now I kind of go with the wash my hands. Yeah, especially I coughed into. But now I'm kind of okay with being single and making decisions, doing stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all right.
But I don't think I have it. That whatever it is, I just seem to have some sort of I think the wind blowing, the pollen today, affected me. Yeah. So, but I was shocked to read this article to hear that we had so many millions and millions of single people, and then we sit and we say we can't meet anybody.
Well, the reason here in Florida,
where are they? They're all in their houses.
We've got 20,000 million women here in Florida, so and only 50,000 men, and half of them are no good. I'm sorry, no, I shouldn't say that.
Well, here's the thing: it's that it's a killer bees next for all of us. He's so funny. He says funny things. Eh? It's killer bees next for all of us. So I hope not. I'm allergic to bees. I'd be a goner. But the thing is that you have to be on the same wavelength. When you're dating, you have to be, in that place where you're looking for a partner. You want a partner, what type of relationship you want. So there's so many elements that come into play with it if you're actually looking for someone. But I thought this article was kind of cool because it talked about empowerment of being single, that you're okay with being single. And that's what my whole platform has always been about, Going Solo Network. It's that, not that I don't want them to have partners in their lives and move on to whatever relationship they want, but that you're all right being single. You're okay. You can make the decisions you need to make. You can feel proud about who you are. You can develop and grow, and establish your own. And so I thought this article was quite good, because I thought it rather than always turning it towards we need somebody, the person that we really need the most is ourselves, and that we need to focus on being strong and building ourselves up and being okay with who we are, and reach for more, than we have.
Yeah, I think it's a question of acceptance and accepting yourself and who you are. Now, some people, I would say some people are born to be married. Some people marriage is something that is natural to them. That's what they want. That's what they desire. I say go get someone who also has that same kind of desire and passion for marriage and so on. And probably you can make it work and be happy. But there are some of us who trend more towards being single. It's uncomplicated. It's a simpler life. And you love yourself. You experience the things of the single life. I mean, you don't wake up every morning with someone at your side. You probably don't have the same level of commitment and partnership. But there are still people in your life who are your partners, who is committed to you and your cause and understand who you are. And that's important, is you still have the ability to share and have good friendships. It doesn't have to be within a marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. And be proud of who you are. And the most important thing is, I think, being single, one thing I've learned is that we evolve, you're right. And who we are today is not who we're going to be tomorrow. And we have that choice of what it is that we want in our lives. And so being single, it allows you the time to focus on yourself, versus focusing on, and you may have children and you may have other people in your family that you have to focus on, but it does give you that single thought, that do I really want to do this? Do I want to learn something new, or, I don't know, it's giving you that appreciation for yourself versus having to, because I can't tell you, like even Bill, when I was saying that a few shows back, I had worn a dress and he had said he didn't like it. I threw the dress out, but I thought that I wore the dress thinking that I looked good in it. And so here's the thing is, so I had an appreciation for the way I looked, but then, because of someone else's opinion, changed that mind, and that made me feel insecure about it. So, the power of being single, it's not such a bad thing, if we take it to the positive, and inspire ourselves to reach beyond and create a life that we truly want.
I think so. And I believe that if people, at the end of the day, after gaining that power, understanding who you truly are as a person,
Mm-hmm.
if at that point you meet someone and you want to get in a marriage or have a partnership with that person, to me, you are building that partnership from a basis of strength,
Mm-hmm.
from a basis of being what I call the complete circle, because now you are self-reliant and you know who you are. And if you both decide to join together at that point, probably you have an unbreakable bond,
Mm-hmm.
But very often people get into marriages without even first knowing who they are.
Yeah.
You're married to someone and you don't even know yourself.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I think it's true. And yeah, what do you think, Kathy? Let's let you talk for now. Or are you frozen again?
No. I had a thought, but I forgot what it was now. I was about ready to say something. I was like, and then Bill popped in. As far as I think independence is really good for to have that for a long time too. Definitely to figure out who you are and who you want what you want out of life, and yes, I've become pleasantly or not pleasantly. Can't think of the word I want to say. Independent, and I like it. But I also would like to meet somebody who is, independent, but would also like to have a relationship too. And, when the two independents come together and they understand each other, that we have been independent for a long time, and we like our decisions with the way we like making our own decisions, and to discuss things, as one, would take time to be able to blend, after you've been this way for a long time, I think. But it can work.
So you want to have a marriage of independence?
I don't want a marriage.
Well, when I say a marriage, I don't mean, all right, let me put it this, let me take the word marriage out, a partnership of independence.
What do you mean by independence? What's your version? What is your definition of independence?
Well, to me, independence means being self-actualized, being able to express your own thoughts, being able to make decisions that you know are good for yourself and not harmful to your partner. Stuff like that. Just being independent.
And
you don't share aspects of your life. But
so ideally, it would be nice to have somebody when you don't want to really make a decision on your own, to have that person there as your partner to discuss it with you, but not to make that decision for you.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You could always have somebody to bounce your thoughts off of, and discuss things.
Yeah. Well, it takes somebody really close, to do that. I'm not talking about just. What are you saying? Are you saying I can just find somebody off the street to ask them what
Absolutely
they
not.
think about something?
You have to. That person has to be in a relationship with you, someone you can trust, someone whose opinions you respect. Doesn't mean to say that you're going to use their opinion or take their opinion as the final word, but at least you can respect their opinion. And it has to be that kind of a deeper relationship. I'm not just talking about Joe Bloke off the streets.
Right.
No.
It's somebody that you have a close bond with, and with that bond you have a, if it's a sexual relationship, or
Well, Joe Bloke off the street, Kathy, is called a one-night stand.
No, we don't do that.
Well, I didn't say you do it. I'm just saying what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, not if you. That wasn't what I was talking about.
I know that's not what you're talking about, Kathy. I'm just defining what Joe Bloke off the street is.
Huh. I didn't know that's what that was called.
Well, that's what I would call it, a one-night stand. What
would end up to be. But okay, here's the thing. This is what the show is about empowerment. And I think that when we travel from relationship loss through to being kind of contented with ourselves, not with our life, but with ourselves, there's a path and a journey that takes place. And so then I think that when we're traveling that path, that's the growing power of being a single person. And so when you get to that point, you're either ready to define what type of relationships you want in your life, because you've gone through that growing pattern, and more in depth on yourself and everything. And I think that a lot of times when we get to that point, we're either going to decide to have a partner in our life, or we're going to decide that we don't, and we're going to define what kind of relationships we're going to have, in our life. And clearly, like, Derick, you've kind of defined that you don't want to be married. You don't really, that's not really what you've told me many times. Well, I'm not the marrying kind.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and I haven't counted it out. I have not counted it out. If I meet someone that I really feel has a similar outlook in life, can balance things, and so on, that we have something in common, interests or whatever. And that person is somebody that I feel that, hey, you know what? I really like this person. I have to like you before I love you, right? But I really like this person. I really love spending time with this person and so on. And if it grows into that aspect of life where a marriage can evolve out of it, I wouldn't say no. But I am not going around looking for marriage.
So would she have to ask you, or would you ask her?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, I have no problem with asking, and I have no problem being asked.
That's another thing. Is women are now asking.
Of course.
Proposing.
Oh, yes. Women are.
Well, I think we all have needs. We all have certain different needs. And maybe a woman, if she's asking, maybe it's because she has a different need, a need for commitment, or a need for that security that a relationship would take, marriage would take. So it might be certain things. Or she may have the opposite. She may have the need that, hey, every relationship I've been in, when it's got heavy, then it turned bad. So I'd like to just keep it the way it is. I mean, Goldie Hawn and what's his name that she's with. I mean, they've never been married, but they've been together for God knows how long. And they've Kurt something, isn't it? Kurt, is it Kurt Russell? No, I don't think it's Kurt Russell. It's Kurt. But whatever it is, cutie guy. But they've been together forever and committed relationship. I have children. You wouldn't know any different. But they just said, why screw up a good thing?
It's like
that's the empowerment of being single, right there. That's a pure empowerment of being single. They made a choice based on a relationship for themselves, what was really going to be good for them.
But actually, they are married. I'm sure there's a common law marriage there after they've been together for so long.
Well, that's according to your state, though, isn't it?
Pardon me?
It's according to your state, the state that you live in.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, it's like Oprah Winfrey and what's his name, Stedman. Right. They have been together for ages.
Yes, Russell. Kurt Russell.
Right. And they're not getting married. But then, you ask yourself as well, what really is a marriage? Is a marriage a ceremony? Or is that marriage supposed to take place before the ceremony? Or is a marriage the commitment that two people have to each other?
Well, you can have a commitment ceremony if you want to have a ceremony.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
A celebration of commitment. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Because I view a marriage as a commitment. Whether you have a ceremony or you don't is neither here nor there with me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of marriages out there that have lost the commitment. It's a marriage on the dating sites, don't we?
It's a marriage on paper. It has lost its psychological or spiritual meaning.
Yeah. And I do think that economically, there could be a reason why you would want to get married. And so that's something a couple needs to, discuss and decide on what they want to do. Because financially, there might be a reason there for it, which again is single empowerment. It's making a choice that's, of the good of what's for you. And so I think that's really what our show was about tonight, was single empowerment. So hey guys, the time has gone by very quickly. So that's what we're talking about: the growing power of single people. And there's what that article saying there was. 1.18 million people. What was it? It's at the top of it here.
1.17 million, I think. Let me see.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, it said that it was
117.9 million.
And in 2018, it was 115.8 million a year ago. So that means there's a lot more people that are becoming single. And so, I was told a long time back, half of baby boomers are going to be divorced. And so, so here it is really deciding, what you want in life and how are you going to go about it and how you're going to approach it. So
right.
Figuring that out. So, yeah. So for sure. All right, guys. So let me think about what your homework is going to be and what your punishment is for not reading the article.
I think I'll probably read the article now. It's I'll try and make time and read it. It looks interesting.
Now he's interested. No, it was kind of a cool article. A spin on being single. But I do feel that we should all be empowered, to live the life that we want. And if we don't know exactly what that is, take the time to figure it out. Don't be in a hurry. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do the things that you like to do and just figure out, if that's what makes you happy and build on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would also say,
very well said, Kathy.
If you are powerful, stay powerful. If you are not powerful, try and become powerful. Mm-hmm. But power can also exist within your relationships and your marriage. Mm-hmm. Once it's power together and not people pulling apart.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. So it's, it's really, especially if you are together, it's really about personal empowerment, learning of yourself and being more centered, which I think raises your vibration, which would certainly make your relationships more desirable. So.
Absolutely. There's nothing more attractive than an independent, powerful woman.
There you go, Kathy.
Woohoo!
I know. I like that statement. We're gonna have to play that. We have to write that down. That's a T-shirt, I think.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Let's make those T-shirts.
Sure. Well, it was nice seeing you guys. We're gonna have to close the show, but it was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I enjoyed it. I always enjoy seeing you guys on Thursdays.
Absolutely. So I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. This is the Boy and Girl Thing. And you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Enjoy.